Well, we have a lot to talk about with a winter weather situation on the way through Friday. Yeah, winter storm coming our way for the first time in a while, at least one that's going to affect most of North Carolina. We have a News 2 weather impact alert for Friday into Saturday. Well, why? That's pretty clear. We have snow and some sleet on the way. It'll be starting sometime Friday afternoon. I could see it as early as 2 to 3 o'clock. So you'd want to be ready to be where you'd like to be by that point because snow falling in this cold air, it could be sticking right away. It will not take long for the roads to become pretty slick across the area. Let's take a look at the wide view first. This is across the whole south now as of Wednesday afternoon. That pinkish color is a winter storm warning from Texas to Arkansas, parts of Oklahoma, all the way over to Memphis here. Look how far-reaching this storm system is. Then as you get closer to us, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina are expecting the impacts as well. We'll likely start to see some winter storm watches issued for our area as we go into tonight and for tomorrow. Cold and windy weather in the meantime, and boy, is it cold. We really mean it. Tomorrow morning, the wind chill, it'll feel like between 10 to 15 degrees across the area. Be ready for that. High pressure in control will stay dry through Thursday, but take a look. There's the storm system we told you about. It's really causing a big mess across most of the south. And take a look, even Atlanta, getting some snow out of this thing. And kind of an old rule of thumb in Carolina folklore is if it snows in Atlanta, it's probably going to snow here. And yeah, I kind of agree with it, at least this time, that's for sure. We have our snow meter. Haven't even used it in a while, in the likely category. I do think we're going to get some snow. Maybe not as much as you would like if you're a snow lover, but still, we'll be able to see some nonetheless. This is Friday afternoon. This storm is going to be fighting dry air on the front side, so it may take a while before it can overcome that. But even so, some steady snow is likely by Friday afternoon across our area. We'll also be fighting what we call that warm nose, or that warmer air creeping northward above the ground. That's that pinkish color here. We call that sleet. Those are those tiny little ice pellets that fall and hit the ground. Once we get to late Friday night, it's going to be moving off to the north, and that could limit some of the snowfall totals for our southern Piedmont counties. Typically, once you switch over to sleet, you don't go back, and it limits and pauses the snowfall accumulation. So I do think it'll be a little bit lighter snowfall down that way. As far as who gets what in our area, this is always our best estimate at the given time. But knowing what we know right now with the storm with fast movement, limited moisture, there's not a very high ceiling. About the maximum I could see for anybody with this system would be about 3 inches or so. And we would expect that mostly for our northern counties. Why? Well, you don't mix with sleet all that much. So up near the Virginia border, maybe about 3 inches, places like Mount Airy. Now in the Guilford County area, kind of depends on where you are. The northern end of the county probably gets more snowfall. The southern end could see as little as 1 inch or so. And that's the case farther south too. More mixing, more sleet, maybe a little bit of freezing rain, less than 1 inch as you get farther south of Asheboro. And that's kind of the way it's going to be. I talked about the ice. It's not as big of a threat as we've seen at times in the past. There's not a lot of moisture with this system, and so it's more of a snow-sleet situation rather than freezing rain. Having said that, there could be a glaze to 1/10 of an inch south of Asheboro and east of Asheboro. Storm timing, let's talk about this planner for you. Friday afternoon, that would be when the storm is moving in. We talked about it sticking immediately, which means things like school dismissal, your evening commute on Friday. All of those could be a little bit dicey. You may want to be where you'd like to be by late Friday afternoon. Into Friday night, that snow and sleet start to mix a little bit, mostly south of 85, and the travel becomes pretty bad. Those roads will still be pretty tough early Saturday morning, but the sun comes out as early as 8 to 9 o'clock, and that will help the crews go to work. The main roads should improve, at least for Saturday afternoon, but as you know, the side streets, they're likely to stay pretty messy for a good while longer. Hey, the last day to prep before the storm gets here, we're talking about Thursday. Look how cold it is. The morning temperatures right there around the upper teens, and it'll feel like around 10. It's really cold out there. For the 7-day forecast, still can't find any warmth. Once the winter system leaves us alone on Saturday, we're still stuck with the cold. We're down to 20 for Sunday morning, 24 on Monday morning. Yeah, we get into the 40s, but even so, it's going to have a hard time melting what falls over the course of our weekend.